The idea of stuffing things into dough isn't that complicated. The Mongols have kushur, Georgians kinkali, Chinese dumplings, Japanese gyoza. Within India, there are stuffed parathas, bondas, kachori, and of course, samosas. The best evidence we have suggests that the samosa came from Uzbekistan. Some say the Arab world, but the samosa is spread far and wide. You can get Burmese variants in India and Burma. You can find Thai and Vietnamese versions in those countries respectively. Kenyans and Somalis have a version of the samosa as well. And the Kenyan donut, mandazi, is also worth further investigation. To many people around the world, Indian food and samosas are synonymous, and that's fine. But it's not exactly accurate. India has always been a marketplace full of cultures. The invasions of the landless sons of Afghan kings brought tons of new merchants and workers to India. Tamerlane's invasion similarly took tens of thousands of Indian slaves to build Samarkand and Tashkent's glorious and beautiful mosques. The culinary traditions of South Asia are tied intimately to Bukhara. Mahiwal, after all, was from Bukhara himself. We often associate a dish with the culture that introduced it to us. Khao soi is Thai to many people in Singapore and the US, while to me it was Indian. Imagine my surprise when I learned that it's actually a Burmese dish. Tea is seen as quintessentially English, but it's originally Chinese. Wine is Chinese. Whiskey is Mesopotamian. Beer is Ethiopian. We can trace almost any element of society far back enough to say, you didn't make it, actually the Chinese, Indians, or whoever else made it first. The census, the Mongols. Public service administration, the Chinese, enabled by the Mongols. Gunpowder, rice, mangoes, etc., etc. It's usually China or India, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with the incredible genetic brilliance of the people involved. It has to do with floodplains. The Indus, Ganges, Yellow River have some of the most fertile land in the world, and they were able to sponsor large populations. Large populations meant large markets. Large markets meant a way for humble traders from remote, low-population regions to make a lot of money. Traders with new goods, ideas, and a lot of labor could set their caravan down anywhere along the Ganges and sell their goods. As Iqbal alludes to in his song, Sare Jahan Se Acha. So all of this translates to, oh, the flowing waters of the Ganges, do you remember that day when our caravan first disembarked on your waterfront? In 100 years, people will grow up thinking pizza and burgers are American. I think many people already associate these things with America. Yogurt is seen as American when in fact it is Turkish, brought by Armenians to America. The biggest market will absorb influences from all over the world, pick the winners according to the tastes of the most powerful within that market, and then advertise it as its own. It's the classic I made this comic. In this light, cultural appropriation has been around for a very long time and is just a new label on an old phenomenon. Cultural appropriation does cover more ground, but the base facts remain. Samosas aren't Indian, but they might as well be. At this point, they're so enmeshed in the culture, it would be difficult to sway people's minds. After all, given how many Indians were moved up to Uzbekistan, how many Uzbeks came back down over the years, and the enduring Uzbek love for Bollywood, maybe it was an Uzbek descended from an Indian slave who brought the samosa down to his ancestral land in the first place.